Dreadnoughts by me, Taylor Foltz, Taylor Russell, and Emma Schaefer. Dreadnoughts were powerful battleships created by the British and were first used in 1906. They were turbine-powered and had many guns on it, and they dominated the world's navies. Architect Vittorio Cuniberti posted a paper about fighting ships and demonstrated the ideal battleship for the British Navy. And 3 years later, it was built and used. Sir John Arbuthnot Fisher was the admiral of the Navy fleet, and he wanted change for the ships. At first, during the experiment period towards the 1890s, battleship design was focused on creating ships from 12,000 to 15,000 tons with engines capable of 15 to 17 knots and have 4 heavy guns. In the future, demonstrated by the dreadnought, this battleship contained better speed and firepower due to the evolution of technology. It had mounted single caliber armament from 10 to 12 inches and had 5 twin turrets. Also, it included 24 3-inch guns, 5 Maxim machine guns, and 4 torpedo tubes, which were used specifically for destroyers and U-boats. Another significant change that this battleship was growing in size up to 17,000 tons, not to mention it went 21 knots. Differing this data with the average destroyer boat, the dreadnoughts were more powerful in every way. This overall shows the effect that evolution had on battleships while comparing its now superior version to the old ones almost 2 decades prior. This is just a visual dreadnought where you can see the 5 twin turrets mounted, 1 in the front, 3 in the middle, and 1 in the back. And I thought getting a picture of what it would appear to look like is significant because it helps demonstrate the extent of the evolution, but also the power Britain held because of this technology within their boat.
Okay, so the uses of the dreadnoughts. So they were used by the British in naval blockades against Germany, which was an attrition warfare tactic. They imposed this naval blockade, which blocked food and contraband goods to halt German economy so that Germany would surrender to the war. The dreadnoughts also performed torpedo attacks, which is an attack using a bomb that travels underwater against German U-boats. They also served as convoy escorts for merchant or troop ships.
So the impact of technology, specifically, dreadnoughts had impacted technology as it brought together a series of other developing technology from over years of building. It impacted the war because it was the first all-gun battleship, and it was one of the bigger ones too. And during World War I, these were seen as when Britain launched their dreadnought in 1906, which then dominated the world's navies for the next 35 years. And this also influenced other countries to build dreadnoughts for themselves to protect their naval area for military. And in the different regions, newer technology, guns, and weapons were used within different war tactics due to the growing of technology within each country. But generally, the impact of technology affected each country, considering most countries had newer weapons or machine guns during war. Technology also had an impact on communication and transportation for troops and resources.
The significance of dreadnoughts comes from the qualities that distinguish them from previous battleships. To begin, it was the fastest battleship as it was the first to reach 21 knots. The accuracy of guns improved as larger guns were favored over the use of less dependable smaller guns. National interest states that those using the guns aboard the dreadnoughts could expect hits at previously unimaginable distances. The dreadnought also stored 10 12-inch guns. The previous record of guns used on a battleship was 4 guns. Nationalinterest.org also states that the invention of the dreadnought had rendered the previous battleships of the world obsolete at a stroke. They're also considered an economic significance to the countries involved in World War I. Dreadnoughts cost over 2 million euros. As Great Britain had ordered the construction of nearly 30 dreadnoughts, they had a substantial toll on the country's budget. Agnes Ross, a professor at Rhode Island Naval War College, said, "So Britain went into dreadnoughts. In doing so, she bankrupted the empire and lost her position as the world's premier navy forever. The development of dreadnoughts also pressured the nations to increase the naval spending, which pushed the limits of their budget and security of their economy. Dreadnoughts, although a revolutionary machine, negatively impacted many nations as it led to large amounts of spending and imposed bankruptcy." The limitations of dreadnought importance also stems from their purpose in battle. They were effective in sinking German U-boats as they could ram the hull of U-boats and when returned to the surface of the water. However, dreadnoughts were generally kept out of the conflicts and used as an intimidation tactic. Britain used dreadnoughts' presence to deter the German Navy from attacking the English coast. Additionally, naval warfare had changed as battleships were no longer required to destroy other battleships. Mines and torpedoes could could take out large ships, such as dreadnoughts, thus making smaller and cheaper navies even more deadly. Dreadnoughts were significant due to its technological superiority, its economic effect, and the role in warfare.